Journal entry 116. 116 days since it happened. Well, it's been 2 full weeks since I've seen a Zom. Things have been going pretty good, but I don't know how long it'll last. Well, I got a little rice in a jar with some aluminum foil going on it, and the coals that'll be done in like 20 minutes. And yeah, I mean, as long as the solar panel holds up, and I'll just keep recording these until I run out of memory. I'll hopefully make it to 117. See you guys. So I was just thinking, sitting here having all this freedom the last couple weeks at this spot got me thinking of how I got here, and how I got the camera to record this and all the gear from that sporting goods store. Thinking of all those things and thinking of when I left the big city, and thinking about when I finally hit the tracks. Okay, here we are. We're on the track somewhere. I don't know, I would say we're about 3 days of straight travel from the city, and things are starting to calm down. My name's Dave Peterson. It's been 36 days since the zombie outbreak, and I'm 3 days I've been walking. About 3 days back in that direction is the city, and it is just a mess back there. So I've been walking for 3 days, and things are starting to get a little bit better. Every day I've walked, I've seen less and less of the Zoms, and yeah, and I'm gonna try to. I picked up this camcorder at a sporting goods store on my way out of the city. I also grabbed some supplies. I got a backpack that's full of some camping gear, stuff I thought I might need. I grabbed real quick when I was passing the mall, and boy, wasn't that a mess. The mall was just torn up, and what was left was just very small bits of gear here and there. Everything else had pretty much been taken out of the stores already by looters and other people. So it's day 36. I'm going to try doing these journals every day. I got this camcorder, and there was a solar camping solar charger that I grabbed with it too, so I can recharge my chargeable batteries and keep this camcorder going. And I'm going to try to do a journal every day that I can, as long as things don't get so hairy I have to leave the camcorder and backpack behind. And yeah, in a couple minutes here I'll lay out all the stuff that I got at the sporting goods store on my way out of the city and show you what I got for supplies, and we'll see how things go. I'm just going to keep on heading up the tracks until I find a place that feels like it's far enough away from the city and far enough out in the woods that I'll be able to hang out there for a while. Because I'm still seeing, small hordes every day, and as long as I'm quiet and go around them, and I just follow these tracks, I should be okay. So I'll see you guys in a minute when I lay out all the supplies. Alright, I hiked quite a ways off of the tracks. I didn't want to set up near the tracks. It's only probably a late morning right now. Figured I'd try to get some sleep during the day. I haven't slept really at all in the last 3 days that I've been walking. I've just been walking down the tracks. Yeah, it's been wild. It's been a lot. It's been stressful. 36 days now since this whole thing went down. I've been keeping a journal in a little notebook that I have put in my pocket over there. And I kept a journal when I was working my way through the city. And then when I worked my way through the city, I went to the sporting goods store, and that's where I picked up the camera. So the video journals start there. Or start right now because, yeah, I just fought my way out for 3 days getting to this point, and now it's kind of calm. I'm only seeing a zom here and there. And, well, let me show you what I got for supplies anyways. And it's pretty embarrassing. I was pretty caught off guard. Wasn't ready for this, which is pretty embarrassing for me because before all this happened, I used to actually be a survival instructor for a living, and I was going to a convention in upstate New Hampshire, and the convention was to be at the sporting goods store where all this stuff actually came from. It's the only place that I had directions from the hotel to, so I figured I would make my way through the city and go to the sporting goods store, see if any of my co-workers or any of the people who I know from other conventions were maybe held up at the store using the supplies there. I knew there'd be firearms there. So I worked my way through, and it was just ridiculous that I had nothing. I didn't even have a lighter on me since I took the airplane in, went straight to the hotel. I had nothing. I wasn't ready at all. The only thing I had on me was a couple business suits, which were completely useless. And so I spent the first 36 days getting out of the city, making it to the sporting goods store, and then hiking up the railroad tracks to this point. And let's look at what I got. One of the most important is I got the 12 gauge. I got a 12 gauge shotgun with a scabbard. So I can carry it on my back while I'm doing things and have it on me. I've got this tarp system. Now, when I was going through the sporting goods store, a lot had happened. Alright? It smelled like feces down there. There were a couple bodies in the lower level, and the lower level of the sporting store was just destroyed and had definitely been attacked. The upper level, though, was locked. And the reason why it was locked is there was 2 living zombs walking around up there. It must have freaked everybody out, and they must have locked that down first. And then all this other stuff happened at the mall, and nobody ever went into that second floor. And that's why none of the guns were touched. All the guns were there at the sporting goods store. Not a single gun had been touched. I was blown away. There were a bunch to choose from. I just chose a light shotgun because I couldn't carry much, and there were no assault rifles at the sporting goods store. They just sold pretty much shotguns and 22s and stuff like that. So I got a Winchester SXP pump shotgun, and I figure that'll do us out here. I got this solar charger, which I found up on the second floor in the electronics department. I have it recharges rechargeable batteries, and I have all that stuff because I knew my plan was to head up north and head out into the forest, and if you've ever been in the forest at night, it's pitch dark, you can't see a thing. So a headlamp with rechargeable batteries is something I had to have. Now, as far as tents and shelters, that section of the store had been pretty much ran through. There wasn't a single tent in the entire store, and I just happened to find this tarp system. It ironically says that it's made by UncleDave'sUltraliGear.com. And it's cool. It's a little tarp and it has a built-in bug screen that comes down and keep you out of the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are pretty much just dying off at this time of year up here. But yeah, that'll work good. It had no stakes, of course, with it, or tent stakes, so I had to carve some of those out of wood. I did have a handgun with one magazine, and I found this knife at the sporting goods store, again on the second floor. So the second floor of the sporting goods store was pretty much untouched, so I got to pick out which knife, and this looked like the best survival knife that I could find on the shelf. It's an Ontario Blackbird SK5, so that'll be really handy. I also couldn't find any pans or any cooking ware of any kind, which is disappointing because we are going to need to maybe boil water and stuff, but I did find an Elgin bottle, and is new, and this model glows in the dark, so that'll be handy out here in the forest at night. I couldn't find any big water purifiers, but I did manage to find 2 life straws in that sporting goods store. And a life straw can filter, it says on the bag that it can filter 1,000 liters, which should be enough for one man for at least 9 months, no problem. So at least we can purify water with this, and you just drink through it like a straw. I found this saw, this folding saw. It says Bacco Laplander. I don't really know anything about folding saws, but I figured it would be handy to have out in the northern bush, because my plan is to just head north, as far north as I humanly possibly can get, because I figure the zombies will freeze. They'll freeze solid if it's cold enough, and you know, at least you'll have that part of the year where you don't have to deal with them. So I'm going to follow the tracks north. This track goes from New Hampshire into Maine and then goes up into Canada, and that's where we're heading. We should probably be somewhere in Maine. I think we might have crossed the border into Maine by now, but yeah, we're heading north. And what was that? Did you hear that? Oh, you might not have heard that. I heard something. I was hoping to get some shut-eye. The only food I have is some cheese crackers right now. I had 3 or 4 energy bars that I found at the sporting goods store, but I ate those on the 3-day hike out of the city, and I've been saving this 1 can of baked beans, and I'll be able to use that can afterwards to boil water if I need to. But as we walk up the tracks, I'm just gonna have to keep on looking for places to looking for houses. I can look for some pot and cooking ware and silverware and stuff at people's houses, and maybe if there's gas stations or businesses that I can go into and look for supplies, because I'm gonna need more food. These areas up here, you should be able to trap and catch animals, but that's not very easy. I'm going to need to find some real food here pretty quick. So, there's a camelback backpack I found on the first floor, but someone had taken the hydration pack out of it, so it's just a backpack, but it was small and lightweight, and I figured it would be a good one for us to use. Of course, the fleece jacket that I was wearing when I was planning on going to the convention. And the only sleeping bag that was left in the place, it says it's a synthetic. I think it was only rated to like 30 or 40 degrees, so as we get farther north, I'm gonna have to find a better sleeping bag or something, or something. We'll figure it out. I guess we just gotta keep on heading north. North is the plan. So I'm gonna do a quick walk around, make sure there's nothing out here with us, and put the camera away, and I'm gonna try to sleep until it starts getting dark, and then I'll get back on the tracks, and we'll do a lot of our hiking and walking up the tracks at night in the dark so nobody can see us, because we gotta pretty much look out for everybody now. It's survival of the fittest, and people aren't gonna be friendly anymore.